Welcome back to Map the Divorce Maze. Today I wanted to do 1 minute, and I think I can watch that on the camera, so let's hope, on how to prepare for your mediation session. I think there can be a lot of anxiety about coming into the room, and I thought I would just do 1 minute on all of the things that I can think of that can benefit you if you are coming into mediation. And go. Okay, first thing I think is make sure that you have told the mediator in advance everything that you think they need to know so that they can prepare for the session. That could be around safety. That could be around communication issues. That could be around being intimidated or a power imbalance with the other person. But talking to the mediator, really helpful. Then I think you need to think about what are the things that I want. So what are my preferences? What are the numbers around those? What is the information that I maybe need to make a decision? What are some of the things that I'm thinking about? Then you need to think about, okay, this is what I want. These are my preferences. What is it I actually need? What are the priorities? What is the most important thing for me to achieve in this mediation session? What is it that if I leave with this, maybe I didn't get everything, but I will feel that I have achieved what I needed to achieve? And then you need to flip it. What does the other person, what do you think they want? What are the things that are priorities for them? What are the small things that you can compromise on so that they feel like a win, you get what you need? Okay, and that's the end of the minute. Oh, in case you did not get that, 1, talk to the mediator. Make sure that you have prepped the mediator with the information that you think that they need. 2, what is the information that you need? Do you need to get more information? Do you need more data? Do you need legal advice? Whatever it is, what is it that you need in order to be prepared to have the best conversation that you can have in the mediation and to ensure that you can make what's really important, which is an informed decision. Not, I'm going to get everything I want, because you're not, but how do I make sure that I have an informed decision about what is actually happening here? What is the reality of this situation? 3rd, what are the things that I want? Actually thinking about, and this is interesting to me because sometimes I work with clients preparing for mediation and they say, oh, I would like some money to do something. I will say, okay, how much? And they don't know. Be prepared. Think about it. If you are asking for a monetary amount, what is the number? And what is it that you want? What's the preference? And then, this is the second part, what's the priority? In the world of negotiation, there are going to be many things that both parties want, that are preferences for both parties. Only a handful of those are going to be priorities. Let me explain why. For example, if you come into the mediation and you want, I'm going to be ridiculous here, but say you want a pony. Now that might be a really strong want. It might be a very strong preference. Maybe you've always wanted a pony. But the reality is, particularly somewhere like Hong Kong, if you go into court and say, look, we've been married for 20 years and I deserve a pony. I was always promised a pony and it never materialized. Now I want the pony. No judge is going to give you a pony in Hong Kong. It's just not going to happen. So there's no point in hanging out for the pony in the negotiation or blowing up a negotiation to get a pony if it's not going to happen in real life. That's what I would mean between a want, a preference, and something that you genuinely need. Do you need accommodation to be sorted out? Yes. Do you need to make sure that you have some money? Yes. Do you need to make sure that maybe there's long-term pension savings or some type of long-term fund? Yeah. Do you need to make sure that you can feed yourself and clothe yourself? Yes, all of those things. You need to figure out, what do I want? And by that, I would probably cast the net pretty wide, maybe include the pony in that list. But then you need to winnow it down and actually think about, what are the priorities? What is it that I absolutely need to achieve in this mediation in order to be able to move on? And that may mean giving up on some of those preferences. Some of them will be realistic. For example, I don't know, if it's something maybe about accommodation needs. And some of them may be unrealistic. For example, a pony. You need to be conscious of that, because if you are in a negotiation, you say, I really want a pony, but I'm willing to compromise and not take a pony. Therefore, you can give me what I want in terms of accommodation needs. That's not a real compromise. A real compromise is actually giving up something that might be achievable in the real world, not something that is not achievable in the real world. Think about that. What are the priorities for me? What do I absolutely have to achieve in the mediation to be able to move on? Then you need to think about, why do I need it? Why do I want this? Why is this important to me? Because why it's important to you will give you the ability to unlock other ways to meet that need. It is just a basic part of interest-based negotiation, which I have talked about in other videos. I'm going to try and find those, where we talk about what is the need, then what does that mean in terms of how is that need met, which can be many ways. There's not one way generally to meet needs. Thinking about why you need it, and then this is the difficult part, which was the end of that minute, probably got a bit squished in. What do they want? What does the other person in the negotiation want? What do they need, and what are their priorities? And the reason that you do that and have this discussion with yourself and consideration is not because you maybe want them to get what they want or get what they need even, that you have any interest in their future well-being, but it is because it is fundamental to negotiation, that in negotiation you don't get without giving and you don't give without getting. You need to make sure that if you have asked for something that meets a priority need of yours, there is something that is going to meet a priority need of theirs in order to get the deal done. And there will be elements of that deal that you like, that you think this is a priority, this is what I need. And there will be other elements of that deal that are compromises where you may feel that you've had to make a concession to give up on something that you want. And the other person will feel the same, that they will feel they have made compromises to meet your priority needs. And they may feel that you have given up on some things to meet their priority needs. I would say, as humans, we are not well designed for the modern world. And one of the big challenges is if you talk to people about what they have lost, our brains light up like Vegas, or maybe Macau is a better example nowadays. If you talk to us about what we have gained, it is very difficult for most people to focus on that in a negotiation. It's almost as if all we see are the losses. When you're preparing, think about, what can I compromise on? What can I offer them? What do I think is really important to them? What are their needs? How can those be met in different ways? Because generally when people negotiate, each person has one solution. This is it. This is the only way this can be solved. And the other person, oh, interesting. This is the only way I think it can be solved. And that's not the case. There are actually thousands of ways to close gaps, to resolve negotiations. Have a think about it. To summarize, what do I need to tell the mediator so they can be prepared? What do I want? What are my preferences? What do I need? What are my priorities? What are the other person's wants, preferences, needs, priorities? And how do I make them fit? So that's it. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. Take care.